Welcome to Snyder's Inc., where the fun never ends. Reactions, gaming, and more with Josh as your friend. Tune in, buckle up, it's a ride you don't wanna miss. Snyder's Inc., let's dive in, feel the ultimate bliss.
Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we got 10 best opening matches in Survivor Series history. That's what we're reacting to today. Wrestling reaction. We're gonna get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. The like button, subscribe button, comment, thing down below. Let's go.
Nobody's favourite WWE event. I mean, that's not to say it's bad or that it doesn't have any value, it's just probably 4th or 5th on your list. Where does it rank on my list, I hear you ask? Well, maybe Tempest will let me tell you one day. He's a hard taskmaster and he won't even let me write a shopping list without his prior approval. Keeping the audience's energy up for a show that's devolved somewhat into lazy brand warfare booking is a bit of a challenge, so it requires a solid opener to warm up the crowd and get the adrenaline pumping for the night ahead. And in its, would we say, storied history, there have been more than a few curtain jerkers that did just that. I'm Dan, hailing from Parts Unknown, and here are the 10 best Survivor Series opening matches ever.
I do find hilarious when he said, damn lady, I'm Dan Lane, he's trying to save you. They do look alike in defense, like, oh, I can't think, they do look alike. Here we are in 10. Number 10. We don't get no ads unless you're paying me.
Number 10, Dolph Ziggler vs. John Morrison, 2011. It's an intro.
Two guys, I mean, it's a scenario where you look at these two, you shouldn't think it's shocking they had a great match. I mean, look at them. Dolph Ziggler and John Morrison. Fucking terrific at what they do. Yet somehow, it is just shocking. That it's just a shocking situation. It's shocking to believe that they had a good match. It's really, really weird. But it's a really great opening match. Pretty sure it's for the United States Championship. Dolph wins. Good match. Needed that in 2011.
One to start our list off, as it was a match that nobody in Madison Square Garden actually wanted to see. But what makes this match so great in my book is how Ziggler and Morrison are able to not only power through and put on a decent match, but actually get the crowd back on side. I mean, you've got an acrobat and a bump machine in there, it's gonna be an entertaining show. There's a reverse T-bone suplex that makes my groin go a bit tingly. And credit to Vicky Guerrero on the outside, closing her ears to the chants of "We Want Ryder" and screaming her head off, somehow managing to be louder than 16,000 New Yorkers screaming for Long Island Iced Tea. The art of the wrestling manager is one I wish they would dedicate an entire wing of the Performance Center to. As the match draws to a close, the crowd can't help pausing from their Ryder chants to ooh and ah. Managing to win over a hostile crowd is a mark of the excellence of these performers and an example of the many occasions WWE have managed to book an excellent match in spite of themselves. Speaking of, number 9, the Body Donners vs. the Underdogs, 1995. Something
What a lot. I would never have guessed this was on here. I have not watched Survivor Series 1995. Because I didn't think there was anything. 1995 is like the worst year in wrestling booking wise. Barely anything good on them. So I didn't think I need to. I never thought this would be on the list at all. In insanity. It has Marty Jannetty in it. What the fuck?
You're going to hear about a lot from me on this list is pacing. It's a delicate thing for a match to do. If it takes too long to get going, your match can feel awkward and disjointed. If you go too long, your drama can build and the audience rise with it, only to deflate like a sad balloon. And the very nature of a multi-man elimination match that became the Survivor Series staple means that going long is exactly what most of these opening matches do. But these teams manage to definitely avoid that potential landmine, even if they don't manage to avoid deeply unfortunate haircuts. The tags are quick and they each make the most of their time in the ring with exciting moves and high-speed action that brings out that kind of high-pitched pop from the crowd that feels brilliantly 90s. 95 was probably the worst year in company history. Only a couple of months back, the main event of SummerSlam was Diesel versus Mabel, for Christ's sake. And the interesting thing here is they've essentially lumped together all of the wrestlers they'd never bother pushing in a million years just to get them on the card, and in doing so, they've highlighted the gulf between the talent they have available and the talent they want to push. Silly, silly company. Number 8, the Real Americans and the Shield versus Cody.
Yep. Of course it's on here. This is the Roman Reigns murder show. This is the Roman, hey, look at Roman. He murders 4 people out of 5. That's a hell of a thing. 4 out of 5 in death in spears. Good statistic I live by. How do you look at this Roman? How you positioned him here, where he's taking out everyone, looking like a complete boss, and go, You need to be cartoonish. That's the only way you're gonna get over. No, he just could have been WWE if you weren't so fucking stupid.
Cody Rhodes, Goldust, Rey Mysterio, and the Usos, 2013. A shining star on an otherwise brutal evening of wrestling that was capped off by Randy Orton facing The Big Show for the world title in 20-flipping-thir-hecking-team. Firstly, it's got Goldust, and I can't get enough Goldust, but the rest of the teams are stacked too, even with Jack Swagger there, apparently unable to contain his glee about being a part of this until he gets eliminated before he can land a single move on 4 different men. Lol. And I also get a hindsight kick out of the fact we've got the Usos, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns here, especially when Roman is then booked to absolutely crush the entire babyface team. Backed into a corner after most of his team is eliminated, Roman decides to respond by, well, basically spearing the entire babyface team clean out of their boots. It's a real star-making moment for Reigns, and it would only take, about 7 years for WWE to finally figure out how to capitalize and turn him into their top guy. Number 7, Spike versus Billy Kidman versus Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero.
Look at these 4 men. Spike Dudley, Billy Kidman, Rey Mysterio, Chavo Guerrero. How... is there any surprise these 4 on the list? These 4 are incredible. Great for cruiserweights. You want some fun action to kick them off? You put Rey Mysterio, Chavo Guerrero, and Billy Kidman, and then you have evil little Spike Dudley in there. The little runt himself. It's freaking incredible. Perfect. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
2004. I love a bit of cruiserweight action, I do, and there's plenty of it here. SmackDown was my show growing up because it was the one available on the basic Sky TV package, and the cruiserweights were a big part of what made me so fond. To paraphrase AJ Lee, Rey Mysterio is lighting it up here, and you're welcome for having that song stuck in your head for the rest of the day. He and Chavo kick off with some lovely lucha-style chain wrestling, then Rey goes to hit a vicious and frankly gorgeous Hurricane Rana on Kidman that sends him crashing off the apron, and I can feel it from here. At one point, there's a lovely little spot where everyone gets to do a dive over the top rope, but when Spike has a go, they all move, so he crashes and burns, and it's very funny. I think what I...
Okay, that's actually, that's actually kind of funny. Like, everyone dies and Spike goes to do a dive and everyone moves, he just crashes and burns. That's actually kind of clever. But Spike always wins in the end.
like so much about this is that it doesn't outstay its welcome. 9 brief, action-packed minutes during which time every man gets a showcase and all the feuds intersecting have a moment to shine. And then Spike, who's playing a cowardly heel that thinks he's the big man when he's not even the biggest borrower, steals a win and smirks off to the back. Bravo! Number 6, Team Angle versus Team Lesnar, 2003. Oh man, I had a great...
I don't remember this being the opening match at all of Survivor Series 2003. Was this the opening? No. This wasn't the opening match, was it? I have no memory of this being the opening match. Was it? Did I have a brain fart and I don't remember this? Like, I remember this match. I just don't remember it being the opener.
Time rewatching this one, and that's in spite of the fact that Matt Morgan and Nathan Jones are standing around looking like creator wrestlers. Often these Survivor Series matches take a while to get going, but here there's no hanging about. We're straight down to business with 3 quick-fire eliminations. The pace is pretty relentless right through, and they just crack the on with it, basically. Everyone's feeling their oats. There's some real energy and adrenaline popping off here, the whole match having the vibe of a feud that's just hit boiling point with 10 men who want to get in and make an impact. And then before you know it, we're down to the final few men. 2003 Kurt Angle is intensity personified, and Lesnar is at his apex, so we love seeing them together. And then before I've even been able to figure out what's going on, Lesnar's tapping out. Didn't see that one coming, and when Cena uses his chain to bonk Big Show on the head and hoik him up for an FU, you're in full testosterone mode, screaming yes at the sight of it. Excellent stuff. Number 5, The Shield versus The New Day, 2017. Fun fact.
Look at that. The only time these guys are faced off. The only time these guys have faced off on this show, well, it was on this show, and it's fucking amazing. Look at these 6 men. Is it really, again, it's another one of those things, like, is it really shocking these 6 had a fucking banger? Banger after banger after banger after banger. It's the Shield and the New Day are incredible. They're just incredible.
Fact, this was the first time the Shield ever faced the New Day. It was also the only time the Shield ever faced the New Day, which in the land of that worked, so run it back until everyone's sick of it, pal, is genuinely quite remarkable. It takes a hot sec to find its rhythm, not helped by the fact that Seth and Dean are wearing objectively the stupidest shirts in their history of wrestling, a list that also features the Sperm One and Phallic Sin Cara. But when they get there, as you'd expect from wrestlers of this caliber, it's smooth sailing. The hope spots are nicely measured, and there's some great triple team action from New Day in particular. Big E gets Rollins and Ambrose on the shoulders for the big ending, which becomes a near fall until it's broken up by a spear from Roman that crashes straight through the cover. They have a little fight forever moment before it became an exhausted trope, and then we get a lovely bone-rattling triple powerbomb from the top rope to close things out. It wakes the crowd up nice and proper, which is exactly what you want your opening bout to do. Well done all. Number 4, Team Piper versus Team Flair, 1991. Congratulations.
I have no memory of this match at all. God. Ugh. I get so annoyed with my fucking computer when it does shit like this. I have no memory of this match at all. Not one bit. Not one bit do I remember this match. I don't remember a person in it. Don't remember a thing about it. Nothing. Fuck all.
Congratulations to anyone who was alive and had enough consciousness to be able to watch this in the moment, because Jesus, do you want to talk about star power? Just look at this lineup. And the Mounties here.
Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, British Bulldog, and Virgil, Ted DiBiase, and the Mountie, Ric Flair, and someone. Can anyone tell me who this is? My brain's... I wasn't around in the 90s. Who the fuck is this?
And the Mounties here. Time in wrestling goes at a relentless march, and it's often easy to slip on your nostalgia specs when WWE goes about calling anyone and everything legendary, but prime Roddy Piper and Ric Flair transcend the word. Just look at the material. They're kept apart for a while, but when Roddy tags in and squares off with Flair, it's absolutely electric in there. In fairness, this crowd were jolly well up for everything. I mean, listen to the Raw when Virgil gets a hot tag. You've got Warlord and Bulldog playing meaty men slapping me.
Warlord, that's who it was. Warlord. Not the Wardlow, that's an AW. The Warlord. Wrestling's great with names, eh? British Bulldog, Wardlow, Warlord, Virgil. What great fucking wrestler names, aren't we? The Mountie, great names.
And the heel face work is pitch perfect. Bulldog goes on a rampage but ends up getting eliminated because the heels have confused everyone over who's the legal man, allowing them to take advantage. And after a babyface comeback spot, the Mountie is desperate for a tag, but none of the heels want any part of it, which is hilarious. And you've even got Gorilla and Heenan bickering on commentary. It's just the most charming example of 90s wrestling. Everyone is over. And also the Mountie is here. Number 3, Bubba Ray Dudley, Spike, and Jeff Hardy versus 3.
This is only good because it's a tables match and the Devon's there. It's not as... I watched this recently. I disagree with this one. Being number 3 especially. It's just, yeah, it's a good pop for the thing, and it's a tables match, so of course the thing, but, eh.
3-minute warning, 2002. Now then, this is so high on the list because it holds such a soft spot in my heart. It's probably one of the matches I've watched the most times ever, because in the olden days I had the Survivor Series 2002 DVD and I watched it on loop. And that's because it's a goat of a show, from the card to the pacing right down to the theme song. Shout out to Saliva, always still slaps. But even aside from that, this match stands out in its own right. First of all, seeing a Dudley and a Hardy team up in a tables match at Madison Square Garden was a delightful novelty. But on the other side, you've got 3-minute warning, who were just brilliant. They'd batter you into a million pieces with their size and power, but good heavens they could move. And it's an excellent plunder match with tables splintering all over the place, Spike getting face planted through one, which is brutal and great, and it features possibly the best looking and most clean swanton high spot Jeff Hardy's ever done. And then to cap it off, we get a nice heartwarming Dudley's reunion after they've been separated through the original brand split. What's not to love? Number 2, Women's War Games 2020.
I mean, War Games is incredible, right? It's War Games. It's fucking War Games. War Games is incredible. Can you complain about War Games? Not really. I don't think there's a bad War Games match that exists. Someone's gonna comment and immediately tell me one that I'm gonna go watch and be like, yeah, it was bad, but I can't think of one. So I'm gonna stick with that. There's not been a bad War Games match in sight. So you got, you know, any wrestling historian watching this, tell me a bad War Games match. I can't think of one.
Look here, WWE didn't do.
I don't mean WWE. I mean in general. Any company. Find me a bad War Games match I can watch. I want to see. What do you call bad?
a fantastic job of booking their women's division in the autumn of 2022. The never-ending tale of Damage Control failing and failing to take out Bianca and friends felt interminable. But as is the case with wrestling, lousy creative can often belie the talent it's supposed to put over, and never is that more evident than this chaos machine of a match. Because not only did the 10 women here push through that dodgy booking, this is also the first time War Games had ever been seen on the main roster. So to get it over, they chose to let it become a plunder extravaganza, working in tables and ladders and trash cans, oh my. Filling the ring with toys can be a dangerous game in every sense of the word, but here they embrace the carnage to perfection. A team with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch on it never felt like one that was going to take the L, but the heels did a fantastic job of making sure they got theirs. From some great character work from Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley while they were waiting to enter, to Io delivering her prime cut moonsault off the top of the cage. As an introduction to the night, a reintroduction to the stipulation, and a reminder of how good these competitors can be, tick tick tick. And number 1, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair 2021. Look, I'm about to possibly be a bit over-enthusiastic, but it's a wrestling list and we only trade in extremes here. This is one of my favorite matches ever. It's everything I love about wrestling. It's blending athletic skill with high melodrama and straight viciousness. On a parasocial level, I want everything to be rainbow.
This is a thing where I haven't watched this match in a while. So I'm going to watch this again. Because I don't know what he's on about. Because I don't remember this match being great. But then again, I don't think I actually watched this show fully. So maybe I'm just being maybe I need to watch it again.
Rainbows and sunshines between these two, so the way it manages to play on that reported real-life conflict between two former best friends only adds to the drama, the pain, and the fury. They channel it so brilliantly into a clash for the ages. And they go with the whole thing where they know each other so well. They're able to not only anticipate each other's moveset, as when Becky reverses a natural selection into a disarm her, they're also able to adapt their own moves on the fly to each other's evasions, as when Charlotte nearly spears Becky out of her fabulous red boots. The pace here never dips below 90%, and they only ever give you seconds to breathe before they go right back to smashing the teeth out of each other. And the finish is such a smart piece of business that manages to give one of them the victory while showing in the exact same beat that they're actually the perfect match for each other. It has this feeling of destined to do it forever, and one day I want them to main event WrestleMania against each other and then have the biggest hug in the world so I can get caught in the crowd crying my eyes out and become a meme. And that's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think the greatest Survivor Series opening match is in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all for the next one.